So this is Sebastian Gawker, who is President-elect Trump's proposed senior director for counter-terrorism. And we showed a clip of his just recently where he's talking to another reporter, a hostile reporter. Here he is talking about his vision for the kind of solution that would bring peace. People talk about two-state solution, one-state solution. The conventional wisdom out there in the establishment is we still should go ahead with two-state solution, and of course that is absurdity. Watch him unpack this, because he says a lot of what I've been saying for a very long time. And by the way, I know there are people on JTV and in the comment section that watch this that have mixed feelings about the Trump administration and his officials and all of that. I'm asking you just to deal with the words that are being said, the points that are being raised here. We don't have to judge a whole person's character, a whole person's complete agenda. Just we're talking about one specific topic here, okay? Have a look at what Sebastian Gawker says.
We believe everything has clean solutions. There is no clean solution to the problem of Gaza and the West Bank. I would point you to my former colleague from the Trump administration, Ambassador David Friedman's latest book, The One State Solution. When 70% of the population you are trying to deal with wants all of you murdered, there is no political solution. The only thing you have is problem management, not solution, but management. And I agree with my friend David that Israel will only be safe when Israel controls those territories. There is no possibility, maybe in 100 years, maybe in 200 years, when the majority of the people in that territory don't want to murder Jews, maybe then there can be some discussion of sovereignty. But when you teach the children of those territories that killing Jews is a good thing, there is no political solution. So all there is threat management. And Israel taking physical and security control of those territories to guarantee that there will never, ever, ever be another October the 7th launch from those territories.
How could anyone possibly disagree with that? That's my question. I'm asking people on the peacenik side who say they think the root of this issue is there's a legitimate grievance on the Palestinian side that wants self-determination. How, in the aftermath, and by the way, excuse me for my sore throat, it'll pass soon, please God. How, in the aftermath of October 7th, can your theory possibly stand? Israel left Gaza. They vacated. They withdrew all the Jews. They said, go ahead. This was the prototype for a two-state solution. Gaza was a mini Palestinian state. And what happened? What happened is they elected Hamas instead of using the vastly disproportionate amount of international funds and support to build life, education, business, commerce, beautiful beachfront, all these things, healthcare. What do? They build tunnels. They build educational infrastructure that teaches kids to become martyrs, which they succeeded in doing, by the way, culminating, of course, in October 7th. We had young people in their late teens going to massacre Jews, then calling their parents and saying, Mom, I killed Jews. And they would say, Allahu Akbar, how marvelous. What an absolute desecration of God's name. We've seen it play out. And even now, exactly as Sebastian says, there is still, according to recent polling done by Palestinian surveying companies, there is still majority support among the Arabs of Gaza and Judea and Samaria for October 7th and for what happened. How can you tell me that they just want a state and that's it? We tried it. We gave it to them as a prototype. What do? No, they want from the river to the sea. Want the Jews gone. How many more times do we have to test this nonsense thesis? I hear on a radio station, someone saying, but Palestinians aren't Hamas. They don't represent Hamas. Actually, according to polling as well as so much first-hand data and evidence. Ask the hostages that were in there if they found anyone that was sympathetic to them, supportive of them, or not hostile. No, there's majority support for Hamas for what happened on October 7th. How could Israel possibly be expected to now vacate a land much bigger than Gaza in Judea and Samaria? How could they be expected to do that? That's asking for suicide. National suicide, God forbid. It's not going to happen, of course, because Israel's learned their lesson with Gaza. But this idea that, they're only resisting and all that because, you say you left Gaza, but actually you blockaded them and you repressed them, oppressed them. Again, what? You study the facts. So when did the blockade, which I'm putting in inverted commas and I'll explain why in a second, but when did this so-called blockade begin? Israel leaves, says, go for it. Bring a life to this land. Make a success of it. They act like Israel the next day said, right, we're cutting off all your supplies and everything. We're blockading you in. Enjoy prison. That's their narrative. Israel left in 2005. The censoring, not the blockade, the censoring for weapons happened in 2007. 2 years after Hamas was already elected, started firing rockets in, Israel says, one second. We have to censor what's coming in here to ensure that you're not getting more rockets and weaponry. Oh, that's outrageous. That's like a new Auschwitz. It's disgraceful. That kind of accusation. That accusation is just disgusting. Israel censoring for weapons. They're not stopping the flow of food and medical supplies and building equipment and all that. They're censoring for weapons to protect themselves. And that, you say, is evil blockading. I'm sorry. It's all lies. It's lies and nonsense. All these accusations leveled at Israel, and it's high time that we stop indulging in them, giving them any credit and legitimacy. I tell you what, I don't even think the Palestinians really believe them. They know that their cause is built on a stack of lies. For them, it's just about getting rid of the Jews. They know it's not about human rights and statehood and all these things. For goodness sake, why do we have to dance to these tunes? They don't even believe it in their heart of hearts, and they tell us that. The leaders of the Palestinian cause from their inception said, we consider ourselves an inseparable part of the Arab nation. They wrote that in the Palestine Charter, the PLO's charter. And yet still we think there's some kind of authentic, genuine desire for self-determination of a distinct people. It's rubbish. It's nonsense. How can we not wake up after this? What else is it going to take for us to wake up? And no, the answer is not more aid, more attempts to get that two-state solution, having more chats and coffee and cake. We need to wake up and realise that there is no genuine desire for two states. Even for an independent state, they'd be happy to be part of another Arab nation as long as it's not run by the Jews. Which is exactly what Sebastian Gawker is saying. But what he didn't say, and that I will say, is that, while yes, from a security standpoint, Israel can never ever withdraw from Judea and Samaria, and that's why they have to maintain a presence there. But there's an even greater reason, which I'm sure Sebastian knows, but perhaps he wasn't able to get it in there in that short clip. Which is that Judea and Samaria is obviously Jewish and belongs to the Jewish people. And we're very happy for non-Jews to live in our land. But we just have one little tiny request, which is not to try and kill us. And you know what? They've had 100 years of trying to offer them a statehood, to offer them some kind of alternative that's being proposed by the international community, and it's run dry. So now we have to start being creative and thinking up new ideas that not just better for security, but also that reflect the truth. The truth is that from the river to the sea, this land is the land of Israel, and actually could not even be given to any other nation. and we couldn't give it away even if we wanted to, because it was designated by the master of the world, by God himself. And this should not be controversial. The majority of the world believe the narrative of the Bible is true and worship the God of Abraham. If you worship the God of Abraham, then at the very least, if you have any respect for this God, you would hope, you would expect, you would imagine that when he says something, he sticks to his word. If you've made it so far in this video, I have a request for you. JTV has been having a really big impact in spreading the truth about Israel and creating positive associations with the Jewish people, Judaism, and Israel. We've really grown a lot, particularly in the last year, and we're having a really significant impact, both for Jews and non-Jews. But I really want to take JTV to the next level so we can start to compete with the other big online media beasts that are often peddling anti-Israel content. And the way we're going to do that is to scale even faster. So I'd love to build a team where we have other presenters doing shows like me. Let's start doing documentaries, supplementary content, animated content, etc., etc. And to do that, I'd like to build a bit of a team. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one fundraising day, just one, where we try and build up some funding in order to fund such a team. Now, to do that, it's going to obviously require people to get involved. And I'm wondering if you would consider, if you're watching JTV content and appreciate what we do and want to help partner with us in taking this to the next level and spreading the truth farther and wider than ever before, I wonder if you'd consider partnering with us simply by running a mini page on the fundraiser that we do, where you just reach out to your contacts on that day that we choose to fundraise and see if they'll all chip in. If you'd be up for doing that, of which I would be so grateful, then please click on the Google form link in the video description of this video, where you can simply just put in a few contact details. It'll be a very small commitment, as I say, literally just one day that we'll all agree upon as a collective community. But the impact is going to be so big. There's such strength in numbers. If we all pull together and do this, we can take this to the next level. And as I say, all of us can partner together in bringing and spreading the truth to the whole world. So please do consider clicking on that link, filling in the form, and I'll be in touch very soon to talk about the next steps. Small commitment, but a big impact. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.